Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. This is my January setup video. It's coming a little bit late because I got sick and my throat was really scratchy, coughing all the time, so I thought I'd spare you all of that. Now it's the new year and I'm very excited to be using my journal, a new journal, and it's always fun to set up January because there's all new goals to set and it's just fun. I love it. I'm gonna use an assortment of ephemera along with some stickers from Paper Monogatari. It's a really pretty collection. It's a spring collection, but I'm gonna use it now. I just love the colors, the vibrant greens and all of that, so I decided to use it now. There are a few stationery items like tapes that I get often in Happy Mails exchanges with letters, so I don't know where all of them comes from, but I'm gonna figure it out and link those down below for you. I don't know if it's just me that happens with, but I spend an awful lot of time just finding the stickers, the papers, and all ephemera that I want to use in a collage. So most of these that I show, I already had selected before, but it takes a lot of time, so I don't show when I'm looking for the elements. But basically, I just pick whatever that matches the stickers, or sometimes I pick the ephemera first and then I find stickers that will match with. It all depends on my mood, how I'm feeling, what I want to do, and which theme calls out to me. The other thing that's different for me this year, when it comes to decorating pages, is I'm using an A5 now, and the space, the blank space, it's a lot less daunting than it is on a B5. I like the space that the B5 has, but for different reasons. And it's funny because I'm gonna use this A5 journal for those exact reasons, because I like space to write. But as we go through life, there are moments that we need certain things, and this moment it feels right to have smaller pages, small blank white spaces. So this collage on a B5 would have looked a lot smaller than it does on this page, but I really felt it so much easier, so much lighter, and I'm excited. One thing that I was struggling with when setting up this page, I wanted to use this girl sticker, but I didn't anticipate that it's a washi tape sticker. It means that it's more transparent, so it looks better with a white background. So I had to remove it and then stick it. I didn't plan on using on the left side of this cover page, but it turned out well. At the end you'll see, but it's just really annoying when you place the sticker and then you have to peel it off. But it happened and I made it through without damaging the rest of the collage. It would have been really annoying if it was. I would have to just place something else on top, and I don't know how I would have done, but it turned out well. I actually think that I was struggling not only with the girl sticker but with all of the stickers. I was just like moving them around. Sometimes I can do the collages and know exactly where I want to place them, but sometimes I just hover with them everywhere on the page until I find that it fits right. I've also really grown to love these circle stickers. These that I'm using here are from Ikigai Papir, but I combined with the circle stickers that came on the other sticker sheet, and I just love layering the circle stickers. it's a lot of fun for me. I don't know why, but I really enjoy using the circle stickers. Most of the time when I'm setting up my cover pages on my journals, I put a quote, or sometimes when the layering on the right page is smaller, then I'll do a bigger collage on the left page. But this year I decided to actually do verses, the Bible verses for each month. I know I did a Bible verse for the year, but it's just how I'm gonna work with that verse in my whole life. And the verse for the month will be mostly like a reminder or setting a tone for the month. And since it's January, I picked a verse that talks about new things and things is springing up in the wilderness. So this verse is from Isaiah 43:19, and it says, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland." When I was lettering this verse, I actually made a mistake and I wrote perceives instead of perceive. So I just left it. I didn't fix it because I liked how it looked. I know it's wrong, but I like how it turned out, and I didn't want to mess it up using the white gel pen that I normally use to fix. And for this verse, I used the Pigma Micron fine liner number 3. I really love this fine liner because it's archival ink, so it will last for a long time. And it writes so well. It's such a perfect black because there are some black that are more blue than black. So I really love how this fine liner writes. I'm still adjusting to recording when I'm setting up. So when I lettered in with the pen January, my head just was over it, so it skipped the whole thing. So I had to cut it because it was just impossible to see what I was writing. It was just the back of my head. But I'm learning. I'm the kind of person that journals with their head, just a face in their journal. So it's a learning process, and I'm gonna get there. And I know I said I'm not doing a bullet journal, so this page will look a lot like a calendar, and it is a calendar, but it's for different reasons. I did the boxes because I want to use it as a tracker. There is this thing that I'm a part of. It's called Faith Field Collective, and it's from a therapist, Joe Hargreaves, that I follow, and I've been watching her webinars for a long time, and she's doing this invitation to do one thing every day for 30 days in January. So to make it fun, I decided to make a calendar page for it, and then I wrote down all of the things that I'm gonna do, and then in these boxes that I wrote, I'm just gonna use a color marker to fill it in, or maybe do some fun things like doodling and lines or circles. I don't know. I'm just gonna use it to track, and I'm really looking forward. I've been working on myself for the past 4 years, but really went into it in the past year, and it's been a really big growth journey, and it's hard, but it's worth it. And if you are interested in joining me on this invitation to be healthy, holy, and whole, I'll leave a link to Joe's Instagram, and you can find another link to join the um, Faith Field Collective. It's a subscription, so you'll have to pay monthly to participate, but it's really, really worth it. And just for full disclosures, I'm not getting paid for it. It's just I really recommend because I just have learned so much the past year, and I love recommending good things to people. I won't go into details about all of the things that I wrote down, but it's mostly things like writing a gratitude list and reflection, taking a walk, or sometimes also like stream of conscious writing. So it's mostly related to journaling and reading the Bible, but it's all things that you do intentionally to it's all better for our mental health. Like, I really strongly believe that if we do things like gratitude and writing, it helps us to process our thoughts, and writing that just makes it all better. And for me personally, writing things that I'm grateful for helps me to not be anxious about other things so much. It's just really helpful for me to write things, and I think everyone should do it. After I listed all the 30 things to do and reflect on for January, I decorated a little bit more because the page felt a little bit empty, so I just put some stickers down, and again, it was so much easier to fill these negative spaces because it's an A5. I don't know, I keep talking about how easier it is to write and decorate on a smaller journal just because it was such a huge hassle for me to set up my journal last year, and the second half was just, it got really tiring for me. But anyway, back to the page. I finished up writing down the days of the month in the squares, and then I did the header, writing healthy, holy, and whole. For this invitation, I made a mistake, and then I decided to use the white gel pen on this one. It does, like, it's really like when you make a mistake, it's really hard to fix it sometimes when it's written, because if you use a white gel pen, sometimes the white of the gel pen doesn't really match the color of the paper. I don't know if that makes sense, but some whites are just white, and others the page can be white blue or white pink. It really depends on this journal. You have to really like just do a comparison, put the pages under each other to see if it's white pink or white blue. Anyway, enough talking about white papers. So this is my tracker page. Last year, up until June, I did a mood tracker, and it really helped me to see how my energy was. But I decided this year to skip the whole mood tracker, and I think from June onwards I also didn't do a mood tracker. I went back to a habit tracker in November, and it was really good to get back into tracking my habits, and I'm doing again this year. So I always decorate the page before, but I also sketch where all the writing will go in advance, so it helps to know what kind of space you have to decorate, and then I go to decoration, and then afterwards I finish off inking the sketches. So for the tracking that I'm doing besides the habit tracker, I also did a Bible reading tracker. I know that it would have been really useful to do a Bible tracker at the beginning as a yearly tracker, but I really want to be intentional about it. And if it's on the first pages and the yearly pages, I could possibly miss it because when I start to journal, I will just skip to the month that I'm using. So I decided to put it monthly. So that means I'll have to work out everything, but it's gonna be worth it in the end. And I found this method. I don't know if I can really link it because I found it as an image that I had on my phone a couple years ago, and I decided to do it again because there are many methods of reading the Bible in a year, and some methods are really good. From the few that I've done is the back-to-back method, like you just open it and read from Genesis until the end. And there are other methods where you read one or two chapters from Genesis, then another from Psalms, and another from the Gospels. But this method that I'm using actually divides into more parts, so you get a good bit of each part across the entire Bible. So explaining this a little further, so the parts are divided into history and law, chronicles and prophecy, gospels and epistles, poetry and wisdom literature. So for history and law, it starts up in Genesis. For chronicles and prophecy, it starts in First Chronicles. For gospels and epistles, it starts with Luke. And then poetry and wisdom literature, it starts with Psalms. So through each month, I will find which books will fit into each of these parts, following from my last read. So for the last day of January, I will have read 28 chapters of Genesis, 30 chapters of First Chronicles, 24 chapters of Luke, and 15 chapters of Psalms. So all of these are the first 15 of each of the books I mentioned. So by February, I'll have to work out what chapters will follow up. So if I had done an yearly tracker, I would just have done all the books of the Bible into one or maybe 4 pages, because I don't think it will match in one page. But so this way I can track like all of the 4 books that I'm gonna read, and I can read them at my own pace, and I know that I have to finish them by the end of January. So that way I will finish all of the Bible at the end of the year. And for my habit tracker, I have been doing it this way for the past 3 years, maybe consistently for the past 2 years. But the way I do it is I split all the habits that I want to track into 3 parts: mind, body, and soul. So if you've watched my video setting up for 2024, I made a page listing all of the things that I can do to improve how I feel in my mind, how I feel in my body, and how I feel in my soul. So if you didn't, I'll just put a link down below and you can go watch it. But for the mind, I chose journaling, reading, and no screen 1 hour before bed. For body, I'm tracking skincare, vitamins, and sleep early. For soul, it's the daily Bible reading, Bible study, and gratitude, daily gratitude. So the next page that I'm setting up is the monthly connection page. This page alone is what I thought that my journal wasn't really bullet journal, because this page is more of a reflection and less of productivity. So this page I just stop at the beginning of the month to think about things that I want to work on, goals that I want to set, and these goals are all tied in with the goals of my yearly goals, but at the same time not, because I will reflect. The first thing that I'm gonna do is reflect on the previous month, see what worked well, what things that I fell short on, and then I set goals towards on improving that. So I found prompts that really helped me to reflect on these things, and I just make the headers for it. It's very, very simple. You don't have to do anything elaborate to do it. I like to put some stickers on it just to match the theme, but it's really basic setup for me, and it's one that I really love to set up, not because it's simple, but because it's all focused on growth. I did a small collage at the corner because I just can't help myself. Doing collages on my pages is now a habit, and I just can't help myself. But this small collage isn't gonna take much writing space, so I think it will be okay. As for the prompts, I used to do a lot more prompts, but reflecting on how I used them and how some questions worked, some of them were a bit redundant and repetitive, so I decided to cut back on a few prompt questions. So this year I am going with just reminder. Growth search is where I ask what did and didn't work well the previous month. The other question, the other prompt that I write is the goals and action step. Before I used to do goals and then another one for action steps, but that's what I mean. They felt a little bit redundant because I was repeating myself. So I'm just gonna shorten it to goals and action steps this time, and then I write my goals and what I can do to achieve that goal. And for the other side of this spread, I did a prayer section with a praise and thanks heading, and then praying for / prayer requests. It's a good space to have in your journal if you have a lot of prayer requests, and if you offer to pray to people, which I do a lot. So I like to have it in my journal, and every time I open to do my reflections, my devotionals, I just do a little small prayer for that prayer request or for that offered prayer that I did. So for this setup, besides the stickers, I used a brush pen from Archer and Olive. It's a calligraph pen, and I don't know if they have this color in their selection, but it's a peachy beige kind of yellow. I forgot the name of it, but when I look in my swatches, I'll link down below. So I use it to highlight, and then with my fine liner I go over and write. It's very simple, nothing fancy about it. But sometimes I use markers from Crayola markers, and other times I'll use other brush pens. It all depends on the color palette that I'm using on the setup. And you just saw now that I made a mistake. I was writing down goals and I didn't give enough space between the A and the L, so I started over and put a sticker on top of it. And that's another way to fix things. So you learned 2 ways of fixing things when you make a mistake: a white gel pen or a sticker on top of it. There is something called a grade spacing cheat sheet that every bullet journal does, and I have done in every journal that I own, but I never used it. I I'm always going down to counting, and I never pull out either if it's a fold out page or if it's the first page of the journal beside the cover page, or if it's a like something that you can pull out. I just never use it. I just go and count. But I find counting really soothing, so that's okay. So that's it for my setup. I'm gonna do a flip through now so you can see all the pages. I am just in love with how it turned out, and I can't wait to use it. Actually, I already am using it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching me set up my journal, and thank you so much for watching it. And I'll see you on my next one. Bye.